There is a certain man the world cannot touch, a man who moves through life as if he belongs to a realm unseen, untouched by the ordinary tides of desire, fear, and expectation. He is not loud. He does not announce himself. He does not chase, negotiate, or explain. And yet, in his quiet dominion, in the stillness of his self-possession, he commands attention, fascination, longing. Women do not pursue this man because he is perfect. They pursue him because he is free. They pursue him because he has carved a space within himself where no one, not even the world, can dictate his worth. Freedom is magnetic. Sovereignty is seductive. And it is not the gestures of charm, the display of wealth, or the flattery of words that draw them. It is the undeniable force of self-mastery, the unshakable presence of a man who is his own axis. Jung called it individuation, the journey into the depths of the self until one emerges fully integrated, fully aware, fully whole. It is terrifying, even to those who desire it, because in the presence of such a man, illusions are stripped away, masks fall, pretense dissolves, and suddenly one is confronted with the raw truth of what is real, what is authentic, and what is beyond manipulation. The elusive man understands the invisible chains that bind ordinary lives. He sees the modern slavery of attention, of expectation, of neediness, and he refuses to participate. He moves deliberately, with purpose, with discipline, with an unwavering clarity that frightens those who have not yet mastered themselves. And this is why he is pursued, not for what he offers, but for the reflection of possibility he casts into the lives of others. To see him is to glimpse a life unchained, a life lived with intentionality that refuses compromise, that rejects mediocrity, that demands truth. Do not mistake elusiveness for arrogance or absence for disinterest. The elusive man is precise, deliberate, and sovereign. He does not disperse his energy indiscriminately. He invests in what aligns with his purpose. He does not act to satisfy need. He acts to fulfill vision. And in this, he becomes untouchable, not because he hides, but because he has built an interior fortress of self-possession so strong that no external force can breach it. Women are drawn to this man because he represents the rarest of all things, freedom in its purest form. It is the same reason the butterfly flutters toward the flame, the same reason the oceans are drawn to the pull of the moon. They sense it instinctively, unconsciously, because all life recognizes the energy of sovereignty, the magnetism of mastery. And yet, most men will never understand this. Most men will surrender themselves to need, to desperation, to the shallow games of pursuit and validation. They will scatter their energy, dilute their power, and wonder why love eludes them. The elusive man, however, understands a deeper truth. Attraction is not created through effort. It is awakened through presence. It is the quiet confidence that does not bend. It is the awareness that one does not need permission to exist fully. It is the mastery of self that precedes mastery of relationships. He moves like water, yet strikes like steel. He is a paradox, open yet closed, warm yet unbreakable, visible yet untouchable. And in his paradox lies his power. This is not a game of manipulation. It is not a lesson in strategy or seduction. It is an expression of archetypal truth. Jung spoke of the animus and the anima, the masculine and feminine energies that exist within each human soul. When a man claims his full masculine sovereignty, when he masters his fear, his ego, his desire, he activates the archetypal force that resonates with the feminine essence around him. He becomes a magnet, not because he seeks, but because he is complete. He becomes the axis upon which the unconscious spins, the catalyst for recognition, for longing, for connection that is both electric and inevitable. The world is full of men who are available, who are pliable, who are easily bent by circumstance and by the whims of others. And women consciously or unconsciously sense this fragility. They are drawn instead to the rare man whose spirit cannot be compromised, whose purpose is immovable, whose presence radiates the certainty of self-possession. They chase him not because they wish to control, but because they wish to touch a fragment of his mastery, to glimpse a life unshackled, to awaken something in themselves that has been buried under expectation, fear, and conformity. To become this man is not simple. It is not quick. It requires ruthless introspection, the discipline to confront one's own shadows, the courage to dismantle every illusion that weakens the spirit. It requires the awareness that desire, attention, and approval are not rewards to be sought. They are consequences of mastery. It demands that a man be willing to walk alone through the chaos of modern life, unbowed by pressure, unbroken by rejection, unshaken by fear. And when he emerges whole and sovereign, the world recognizes him. Others cannot help but recognize him. Elusiveness is born from depth, not distance. It is not absence, it is presence, magnified. It is the understanding that a man who lives fully, intentionally, and with purpose does not scatter himself to satisfy fleeting demands. He does not bend to convenience, to expectation, to superficial desire. He is rooted in something far greater than the noise around him. Vision, mastery, clarity, and in this rootedness, he becomes the epicenter of attraction, not through artifice, but through the natural law of resonance. And so women pursue him, not the man they can change, mold, or possess, but the man who cannot be possessed, the man who requires nothing because he has claimed everything within himself. This is the paradox of desire. What cannot be controlled is what is most sought. What refuses to bend becomes the standard against which all else is measured. And in the quiet awareness of this truth, the elusive man does not celebrate attention nor lament indifference. He simply moves forward, committed to mastery, committed to vision, committed to the relentless pursuit of becoming fully himself. To understand why women pursue the elusive man, one must first understand the nature of desire itself. Desire is not simply attraction, it is recognition. It is a response to something unseen, yet profoundly felt. It is the unconscious whisper that says, here is something rare, here is something whole, here is something that exists without compromise. And it is in this recognition that the pursuit begins not of possession, but of resonance. The elusive man embodies what most men deny, the capacity for true self-mastery. He has confronted the shadows within himself, the anger, the fear, the loneliness, the ego-driven illusions that cloud ordinary life. He has walked into the dark corridors of his mind, faced the whispers of inadequacy, and emerged not broken but refined. And in this refinement, there is an energy, a magnetism, an irresistible force that is felt before it is seen. This energy does not ask for attention. It commands it. It does not demand admiration. It evokes it. And it is precisely this sovereignty that sparks pursuit, for nothing draws desire like freedom wrapped in mystery. Most men are terrified of solitude because they mistake it for emptiness. The elusive man understands that solitude is the crucible of power. It is in the silence, in the spaces where no one else exists, that a man discovers his true essence. In these moments, he nurtures clarity, strengthens discipline, and aligns with vision. He does not seek validation because he has discovered a deeper currency, self-approval. And when a man achieves this, the world begins to respond, not because he asks it to, but because the resonance of his mastery vibrates across the invisible threads that connect human consciousness. Women sense this immediately. They sense the difference between a man who has scattered himself to meet the expectations of the world and a man who has carved himself into something unassailable. They sense the distinction between desperation and sovereignty, between performative charm and authentic presence. And the result is pursuit not because the man is easier to conquer, but because he is fundamentally unattainable in the way that matters most. But pursuit, in its truest form, is not an external game. It is a mirror. The elusive man reflects what the feminine seeks within herself: strength, clarity, authenticity, and the courage to be whole. She is drawn to him not to possess, but to awaken the parts of her that have been dormant, the parts that have been silenced by the compromises of ordinary life. And here lies the secret. The chase is never about the man. It is about awakening the potential within the woman who recognizes him. This is why the elusive man does not chase, does not bend, does not explain. His power lies in indifference to the superficial, in devotion to the profound, in commitment to vision over validation. He does not operate within the petty hierarchies of attraction. He moves along his own axis, guided by purpose, driven by mastery, aligned with an internal compass that no external force can recalibrate. And in this alignment, he becomes irresistible, not because he seeks attention, but because attention seeks him. There is a lesson here for every man who wishes to embody this force. Mastery is the ultimate form of allure. It is not charm, wealth, or appearance that creates magnetism. It is depth, presence, and unshakable self-possession. It is the willingness to confront the self, embrace solitude, and walk through the fire of life without surrendering to fear or desire. And when a man achieves this, the pursuit of others becomes inevitable, not because he orchestrates it, but because the energy of mastery is irresistible to all who are attuned to authenticity. The elusive man understands timing as well. He does not act out of impatience. He does not compromise to satisfy transient desire. He moves with precision, knowing that the right energy at the right moment will yield results far greater than those forced by need or haste. This patience, this restraint, is part of his power. It is the silent language of sovereignty, speaking louder than any words, louder than any gestures, louder than any conventional displays of attraction. And so the pursuit continues, drawn by forces invisible yet undeniable, guided by instinct, by archetype, by the unconscious recognition of what is whole, rare, and true. The elusive man is not a product of circumstance. He is the result of deliberate evolution, of rigorous discipline, of the willingness to face oneself without flinching. He is a testament to what is possible when a man refuses to scatter himself to satisfy the expectations of the world. And in this refusal, he becomes something mythic, something eternal, something the world cannot resist. The final truth is this: pursuit is a reflection, not a conquest. Women pursue the elusive man, not because he seeks their approval, but because he has claimed his own. They are drawn to the energy of self-mastery, to the radiance of authenticity, to the power of a man who exists fully, without compromise. And in recognizing this, in embodying this, the man does not merely attract desire, he awakens it. He does not merely command attention, he inspires transformation. He does not merely exist, he becomes the axis upon which possibility, purpose, and passion revolve. To be the elusive man is to be sovereign, grounded, unshakable. It is to carry a depth of self that no external force can erode, a clarity of vision that no distraction can dilute, and a presence so profound that it ignites recognition in all who encounter it. And when a man achieves this, when he becomes the embodiment of mastery, women pursue him not to possess, not to control, but to awaken their own capacity for freedom, authenticity, and power. The elusive man is not rare because he is unreachable. He is rare because he has chosen the arduous path of self-mastery, of individuation, of sovereignty. And in this choice lies the ultimate lesson. Attraction is not created by seeking, it is awakened by becoming. And now the world watches, unaware of the quiet revolutions taking place within the men who refuse to bend to expectation. They do not shout, they do not demand, they do not grovel for recognition. Yet in their stillness, they move mountains. In their silence, they are heard. In their presence, the world bends not in fear, but in awe of what it cannot replicate. You must understand this. The elusive man is not a character in a story. He is an archetype, a living embodiment of what it means to confront the chaos of life and emerge unbroken. He has faced the tempests of doubt, the hurricanes of desire, the storms of distraction, and yet he has not scattered. He has not fragmented. He has not bowed. He stands whole, not by accident, not by chance, but by choice, relentless, unflinching, uncompromising. And in this wholeness, he discovers the ultimate freedom. Freedom from the need for approval, freedom from the hunger for validation, freedom from the illusion that love, desire, or attention can define his value. For he has already defined it, not with words, not with gestures, not with performance, but with presence, with depth, with mastery. And in this presence, the world responds naturally, like rivers converging toward the sea, like moths drawn to the flame, like every force that recognizes resonance seeking alignment. Do not mistake this for arrogance. The elusive man is not a tyrant. He is a sovereign. His power lies not in domination, but in self-possession. His magnetism is not manipulation, but authenticity. And his relationships are not transactions, but reflections of his inner order, his clarity, his unshakable commitment to being whole. The truth for every man listening now is this. If you wish to awaken pursuit, if you wish to embody attraction so profound it transcends superficiality, you must first awaken yourself. You must confront the shadows that have lingered too long. You must face the fears that have dictated your choices. You must strip away the masks that have hidden your essence from the world. And in this brutal, beautiful process of individuation, you will discover the energy that cannot be bought, the force that cannot be faked, the magnetism that cannot be resisted. This is why women pursue the elusive man. Not because he is mysterious for mystery's sake, not because he plays games or hides himself, but because he has done what most will never dare. He has looked within, he has refined his soul, he has claimed mastery over himself. And in claiming mastery over himself, he illuminates the path for others not to follow, but to awaken, to recognize, to strive for their own wholeness. Let this be the final revelation. Attraction is not a formula. Pursuit is not a strategy. Power is not in what you display to the world. It is in what you have cultivated in the silence, in the darkness, in the crucible of self. And when a man achieves this, the world responds naturally. Desire aligns, respect forms, attention follows. And what was once elusive becomes inevitable, not because he sought it, but because he became the force that cannot be ignored. So rise, stand unshaken, walk through the fire of your fears, confront your shadows, refine your soul, own your purpose, and in doing so, you will become the man who does not chase, yet is endlessly pursued. You will become the man whose presence is a call to awakening, whose energy ignites transformation, whose mastery demands recognition. The world is waiting, but it will not wait forever. Step into your power, claim your sovereignty, become the elusive force that cannot be tamed, that cannot be bent, that cannot be denied. Become the man whose life is your own creation, whose desire is self-defined, whose pursuit is unnecessary, because you have already become what the world unconsciously seeks. And in that becoming, you will finally understand. Pursuit is never about others. Pursuit is about mastery. Pursuit is about presence. Pursuit is about awakening the highest version of yourself. And in that awakening, everything else follows naturally, effortlessly, and eternally. The elusive man does not exist for validation. He exists for transformation. And when you become him, the world will not simply notice. It will reverberate with the power of your presence, the clarity of your vision, the sovereignty of your soul. Rise now, be unshakable, Be whole. Be the force that awakens pursuit, not through games, but through mastery. Become the man the world cannot help but recognize, and in that recognition, step fully into the life you were born to claim. The shadows you feared will bow to your light. The chaos you feared will bow to your order. The desires that once distracted will now align with your purpose. And the elusive will no longer be something you chase. It will be the life you inhabit, the presence you radiate, the power you embody. Stand now and let the world finally catch up. Now, imagine the quiet power of a man who moves without haste, whose decisions are not dictated by whims or the approval of others. He is a tempest contained, a storm restrained, yet capable of reshaping everything it touches. Women are drawn not to the noise, not to the clamor of desperate pursuit, but to the gravity of a man whose inner world is so full, so alive, that it spills outward effortlessly. This is no act. This is life lived deliberately. This is mastery of the self. Every glance, every word, every silence carries weight because he has earned it in the crucible of his own becoming. And here lies the greatest secret. What the world perceives as elusiveness is not avoidance, it is integrity. It is the refusal to compromise the sacred space of his mind, his purpose, his energy. And that refusal is magnetic, that refusal is irresistible, that refusal is freedom. Understand this. Desire does not ignite in the presence of compliance. It does not flourish in the arms of the pliable or the predictable. It awakens in the presence of challenge, in the encounter with the untamed, in the reflection of a man who is unbound by convention, unchained from expectation, and unbroken by circumstance. The elusive man is not a puzzle to solve. He is a force to respect. He is a standard to admire. He is a living testament to what it means to be sovereign. And in this sovereignty, there is clarity. Clarity about what he values. Clarity about what he allows into his life. Clarity about who he is and what he will never compromise. Women sense it immediately. It is in the way he holds himself, in the calm certainty of his gaze, in the unspoken knowledge that he is complete, without needing to fill any void, please any expectation, or chase any fleeting attention. But mastery is not just about stillness. It is about movement, action, creation, and the relentless pursuit of purpose. The elusive man acts not to impress, but to fulfill. He builds, he creates, he challenges, he evolves. His life is a sculpture, every choice a stroke of intention, every action a statement of self-possession. And as he shapes his life, the world cannot help but follow, drawn to the gravity of a presence that knows itself fully, unwaveringly, eternally. And here the final revelation settles. The pursuit is never about conquest. It is about becoming. The women who seek, the eyes that follow, the hearts that yearn, they are mirrors, reflecting a truth long ignored. Power, presence, magnetism, and respect are not given. They are earned. They are forged in solitude, in self-reflection, in confrontation with fear, in the quiet hours when the world sleeps and a man decides who he will be. Do not mistake elusiveness for withdrawal. It is not absence. It is alignment. It is the recognition that the energy of a man who knows himself is sacred and must be treated as such. To yield that energy to anything unworthy would be to betray the force within. And that is why he is sought, revered, and pursued, not because he manipulates, not because he schemes, but because he has mastered the invisible architecture of his own soul. And now, let this settle deep within you. The elusive man is not an accident. He is not luck. He is the product of relentless courage, brutal honesty, disciplined thought, and unwavering action. Every shadow he has faced, every doubt he has crushed, every temptation he has resisted has built him into an immovable force. And from that foundation, everything else, the admiration, the desire, the alignment of the world to his energy, follows naturally, inevitably, irreversibly. So rise, be relentless, be sovereign, be unshakable, refuse compromise, refuse distraction, refuse to shrink, refuse to chase what is not aligned with your purpose. And in that refusal, in that mastery, in that absolute ownership of your mind, your heart, and your life, you will become the man that the world cannot ignore. You will become the life that demands attention. You will become the presence that inspires pursuit, admiration, and respect without effort, without games, without need. This is the ultimate truth. Women pursue the elusive man not because he hides, not because he plays, not because he is mysterious. They pursue him because he has claimed himself, because he has walked into the fire of self-mastery and emerged whole, radiant, and uncompromised. And in claiming himself, he illuminates a path that few will dare to follow, yet all will recognize. The path of sovereignty, of presence, of mastery, and of the unyielding pursuit of one's highest self. And in that pursuit, your pursuit, you will finally understand what it means to be truly free. Free from expectation, free from approval, free from the need to perform, free to exist fully, to act decisively, to love without compromise, and to live in a way that demands alignment, not attention, respect, not validation, and recognition, not pursuit. Rise now, stand unbroken, own your life, your energy, your presence. Become the man whose magnetism is natural, whose pursuit is unnecessary, and whose mastery is undeniable. Become the man who awakens the world simply by existing, who inspires reverence by being whole, and who commands attention because he has learned the greatest secret. The power to be pursued, admired, and respected is born within, forged in the fires of self-mastery, and lived in the quiet, relentless, unshakable pursuit of one's own highest self. The elusive is no longer a concept. It is you. And now, understand this final truth. The elusive man is not a product of chance, circumstance, or cunning. He is the culmination of every battle fought within, every fear faced, every temptation resisted, every shadow explored and integrated. He is the embodiment of sovereignty, the living proof that mastery begins not with the world, but with the self. No one can diminish him. No one can derail him. No one can distract him from the clarity of his purpose or the gravity of his presence. He is unshakable because he has built himself from the inside out. He is magnetic because he honors the energy he carries. He is desired because he exists fully, without compromise, without apology, and without need. And so, let this be your awakening. The pursuit, the admiration, the allure, it is all a reflection of what you carry within. To be sought is not to chase. To be admired is not to perform. To be irresistible is not to bend, to beg, or to seek approval. It is to become whole, to become sovereign, to become unstoppable. Stand now in the full measure of your life. Own your mind, your heart, your energy, your choices. Let nothing and no one move you from the course of your becoming. Let every challenge, every shadow, every moment of doubt only sharpen your resolve. Let every glance from the world around you be a mirror that reflects your strength, your clarity, your unshakable presence. And when you do, you will understand the final, unbreakable truth. The elusive man is not found. He is created. And in creating him, you create a life that cannot be ignored, a force that cannot be subdued, and a presence that commands respect, reverence, and alignment, not because of what you give to the world, but because of who you have become within it. Rise, become, claim, and know the power, the magnetism, the mastery. It has always been yours. All you had to do was awaken it.